Welcome to the Fantasy Football Forge. My name is Steve, and it is time for the Week 18 running back rankings. And more than any week of the season, this information is fluid, very fluid. This sheet is live and active and will be changed as more news comes in throughout the day. We already got a fair amount of news, which would have been useful for the wide receiver and quarterback videos just yesterday on Wednesday. I'm sure there will be more to come out each day about what we can expect for the players' usage for these teams, how they're going to approach these games as far as how much they want to win them or not, etc. But at the end of the day, a lot of these players do have incentives. The NFL ensures to as much of a level as they can that these games will remain competitive and that players have reasons to play. Coaches, of course, they have records that they want to uphold and, their win-loss records, etc. So all around, there are reasons for these teams to play as much as fans. Sometimes we think that there is not. We just saw it last year with, Houston winning that game at the end of the season, which, of course, hurt their draft stock, and everybody poo-poos that. But I would rather a league where it remains competitive and teams have reasons that they want to win. So, I'm only going to take, for the most part, I'm going to try not to speculate too much. But, of course, there might be some speculation in some of the rankings. Regardless, here are the players on the screen over there who are not being ranked currently. A couple of them already been ruled out. Kyren Williams, Christian McCaffrey. Some of these are injury reasons that these guys aren't being ranked. So real quick, the list includes Kareem Hunt. He is currently, he did not practice, I believe, on Wednesday, a little bit banged up. He's the number 2 for Cleveland. They have everything is set in place for them. They're not playing for much. I could see very well them just sitting him, trying to get him healthy. Isaiah Pacheco, they've already named some starters that they are sitting. They've already said that they're going to be sitting a lot of starters. Isaiah Pacheco been a little bit banged up. I highly suspect that he will not be playing. Josh Jacobs is pushing to play, apparently. Game time decision is the situation there, so that would, of course, affect Zamir White's ranking where I have him when we get to that. Deonta Foreman, I don't remember exactly why he's down here. I think he did not play last week for personal reasons, so we'll just kind of follow up on that. Regardless, Chicago running back situation, once again, one that I don't know what to think of, what to trust or not, so kind of avoiding that regardless of who is available and who's starting. Gus Edwards, I suspect, would be sitting here against Pittsburgh this week in a meaningless game for them as their starting running back. Kyren Williams already been listed as out, or, the team has already been said that they're going to be sitting him, resting him this week. Jerome Ford, I suspect, will be getting rested, just like I suspect Kareem Hunt probably will be. Almost certainly Jerome Ford will be. Raheem Mostert, I suspect that he will get some rest here. We'll see. He did miss last week regardless, so we'll just see where that goes. Miami is playing for a lot this week, so they do have reasons to play him if he is totally available and ready to go for them. So we'll see. Alvin Kamara sprained his ankle last week, so we will see if he ends up being available this week. Kendre Miller was not available last week, was very close to becoming available, so that would be interesting if he is available as someone that maybe the team would want to, give free reign and see what they've got in him. They haven't really had a chance to do that this season, and then Christian McCaffrey already has been said that they will be resting him. Let's see how I did last week with my DFS buys. I won't be providing any DFS buys this week, and if you haven't seen the previous videos, compared to other weeks, I did not do projections this week. There is just so much going into it. So many players will probably play part-time and everything that I just don't know how reliable projections are this week. So didn't go through that trouble, just doing the rankings pretty straight up. And now, how did I do last week for my DFS buys? I said that I would pay for Christian McCaffrey and Kyren Williams, and I did in a lineup that otherwise I had a couple pieces hit, but unfortunately, Christian McCaffrey did get injured, so that lineup did not end up going off. It was pretty solid all around. So Christian McCaffrey obviously wouldn't have been worth it due to injury, but Kyren Williams was. He was the RB1 on the week in full PPR, so that worked out well. For a good price, I gave you a few names here. I gave you CEH at $5,300, Bijan Robinson $6,600, DeAndre Swift $6,500. CEH didn't end up being the starter, but Bijan Robinson and DeAndre Swift also didn't work out for any of those three. So, not correct there. Then, to my fades and my loves for my fades, I gave you Tony Pollard, who finished as a running back 43 on the week. So that was good, but I also gave you Aaron Jones, who finished as running back 17 on the week. Not so great, but that is right around where I had him ranked. So maybe it was kind of good because I think maybe this might have been a situation where I was comparing it to the ECR. Maybe the experts had him ranked higher. For my loves, I gave you Bijan Robinson and CH. CH did not play. And then Bijan Robinson finished as the running back 25 on the week. He was a love. Definitely not where I had him ranked, nor a good love of the week. So fail there. Let's move on to the Week 18 running back rankings. All right, so here is the first tier of running backs from running back 1 through 8. Kicks off with Rachaad White, which is, just astounding that he is here ranked first for running backs at any point this season. But very good matchup going up against Carolina. He's been very good. As you can see, EV running back 3 on the season. What does that mean? EV equalized value. It's very much like average fantasy points per week. However, it's a stat that I keep track of, and it is it takes consistency into account. Essentially, think of it, I award points based on where these players finish on the week, and essentially whether a player has 45 points or 55 points scored on the week, they wouldn't get awarded for having 55 points over 45. They would get the same amount of points awarded to them, so it limits how much the data can get skewed from a massive performance at some factor. Is really how it works. So it just kind of condenses the data a little bit. There we go. Otherwise than that, in this versus category, I did rank the defenses, or I looked at the defenses and looked at the best of the best matchups, the worst of the worst, and highlighted those. So dark blue is an excellent matchup. Lighter blue is a near excellent matchup. There's going to be a bright green here, which is going to be a very good matchup. Darker green, good matchup. Lighter green, not so great, above average matchup. No highlighting, somewhere within the average amount of fantasy points allowed per week. But then yellow would be like below average, orange would be a poor matchup, and then red would be a very, very bad matchup. So there we go. We're caught up. Here's my first tier. Starts off with Rachaad White, followed by Jonathan Taylor. Zamir White, he's a love of the week for me. Going up against Denver, very good matchup. We expect them to run a lot in this matchup, and so he's been fantastic down the stretch here for you. Kenneth Walker, also very, very good matchup, so I'm liking him quite a bit this week, followed by Travis Etienne. James Conner, good matchup there. Been good on the season, and so I like him quite a bit. Devon Achane, we'll keep an eye on this situation here for Miami, who's going to be the starters or not, but if he is the leading starter coming into the game, I'm going to be pretty optimistic about that. I do believe he might have missed Wednesday's practice. That might be the reason for the asterisk there, but regardless, Miami's in a situation too, playoff-wise, where they do have the playoffs locked up, so they're not playing for everything this week, but they are playing for quite a bit. I expect them to come out and try to win this game against Buffalo. And then Jahmyr Gibbs to wrap this tier up. Been, very good on the season. You're going up against Minnesota. Expect this to be a tough matchup. Detroit's playing for things yet. So I like it. I like the matchup. Think they'll be playing hard. David Montgomery at the bottom of this next tier at running back 18. As you can see, he's been fantastic on the season. I still do trust him a lot. But Minnesota, I think, is a better matchup for Jahmyr Gibbs. And through the second half of the season, the team has really turned to Jahmyr Gibbs more so than David Montgomery, who's a little bit touchdown reliant, which is why I have him this low. But also, that Detroit offense, I do expect them to get into scoring opportunities, plenty of times throughout the game against Minnesota. Enough times for David Montgomery to hopefully come through for you. Then at the start of this tier, running back 9, we've got Bijan Robinson, followed by DeAndre Swift, Breece Hall, Tony Pollard, in a solid matchup over James Cook in a not-so-great matchup, above average to below average, and that's kind of been the tiebreaker between these two, despite James Cook being a little better on the season, and definitely as of late. So feel free to flip those if you don't, if you have them both. There'd be no problem with taking James Cook over Tony Pollard. Aaron Jones been good as of late, going up against Chicago. Last week, he had a solid performance, looked good. So I feel comfortable with him out there. Joe Mixon going up against Cleveland, as you can see, been very good on the season. Maybe I'm under-ranking him here. He's definitely going to be a candidate to potentially get moved up a little ways here. But, we'll see. Saquon Barkley is going to be a fade of the week for me, going up against Philadelphia. Very tough matchup. I'm just not overly optimistic about it. Philadelphia playing for something, New York Giants is playing to potentially upset Philadelphia, but I just don't know that they'll be able to get up for this game. Then Devin Singletary in a excellent matchup against Indianapolis, so love that. Might have to push him up ahead of Saquon Barkley. Then I talked about David Montgomery already. Let's go on to this next and final tier of my running backs this week, which kicks off at running back 19 with Derrick Henry, followed by Ezekiel Elliott, Austin Eckler, Brian Robinson, Javonte Williams, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I did just move down actually right before. Well, this is the second time filming this, so while I was filming this last time, thought I'd make it a little bit quicker since this chart is so fluid. By the way, I will be live available for my final rankings will be on the screen, and for any start-sit advice 2 hours prior to kickoff on Saturday, and 1 to 2 hours prior to kickoff on Sunday, depending on if anybody comes in on Saturday. I'm not really expecting it to be too busy, but we'll see, and depending on how busy it is or is not, I'll go live for more than an hour, potentially Sunday morning, but want to be available for you regardless either way. So yes, Justice Hill is a love for me this week, going up against Pittsburgh. Solid enough matchup. We just saw him get used last week. I think I have faith in Tyler Huntley to be able to run this offense. I have faith in Justice Hill to be able to make some plays. So I'm pretty optimistic about Justice Hill this week. Then Khalil Herbert, if Deonta Foreman's returning, I don't know what we'll do. Probably drop him below like all of these guys if Deonta Foreman returns. Then Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, Chuba Hubbard, all in tougher matchups. Just kind of slides them down here a little bit. Najee Harris also didn't practice on Wednesday, so we'll keep an eye on that. Ty Chandler is a fade of the week for me, going up against a really, really good defense there. I'm not too optimistic about him having a big game. Elijah Mitchell, same thing. Really not too optimistic about him having a big game. And other factors here too. San Francisco's going to be sitting a lot of people, starters, so that's not going to help Elijah either. And then Pierre Strong's a guy who I've been wanting to push up. I think he's going to get the full start, and so if that is the case, he is also going to be in a similar situation to Elijah Mitchell in terms of the fact that they're going to be sitting quite a few of their starters in Cleveland probably, but also, I don't know. I like the situation. Cincinnati's been a pretty good running matchup for guys as of late, and so I want to push him up further than where I currently have him ranked. But there you go. There's the rankings. Thank you very much for tuning on in. You can find these once again up on the website, www.theFFForge.com, where I will be updating them throughout the week, or you can come visit me live Saturday and or Sunday to see the rankings as well up on the screen. So thank you very, very much, and I think that's it. Peace out.